Rich Tehrani with TMCnet. Thanks for watching. We're in Silicon Valley for Editors Week, and on our program right now is Sohrab Modi. He is with Echelon. Sohrab, how are you?
Good. Good to see you again, Rich.
Likewise.
Yeah.
I thought we started at the top. I'd like the overview of your company. Tell us about what you guys do.
Yeah, I think the basic premise of Echelon is that we connect devices.
Okay.
And we've been doing this for the last 25 years. We're in sort of the building automation space. We're in the smart grid space. We're now in the lighting space, where we do connected lighting, mainly outdoor. A lot of it is focused around cities or large parking lots or malls or any lighting that's outdoor, essentially. We've had a very long history of connecting devices, and everybody talks about IoT today. Hold on, we've been doing that for the last 25 years.
So over the decade and a half, or 2 decades and a half, you've seen a lot of changes. Where do we stand today?
I think it's interesting to see the changes that are occurring. So for example, the IoT. I think IoT is suffering from the same sort of euphoria that existed when cloud computing came around. As soon as there's everybody wants to be an IoT. Everybody wants to reshape themselves on IoT, and nobody can actually define, well, what's the actual value proposition of what you're solving for, and what's the return on investment, And this is particularly important when you think about not the consumer space, but you think about the commercial space, the industrial space, where we are in, really. We're not so much in the consumer space at all, And there it's a different set of requirements. What worked in the consumer space doesn't work in the industrial space. The industrial space, commercial space, they require to see an ROI.
Right.
This whole model is even transposed into this thing, the smart cities.
Right.
What is a smart city? Depends who you ask. It's like somebody will tell you, well, I'm going to be connecting my water meters with my grid meters, with my traffic lights and my parking stuff and my and my traffic counting and my lighting, and then you ask somebody else and they say, no. IoT is really about, smart cities is really about security. And so you have all these security cameras all over the place, and then it can feed back into the police station. So when you see something occur, you can immediately get to see it, and the police will know. And then you ask somebody else and they say, no. It's about eGov. It's about, digital documents, about transporting them, making them more efficient. You talk to somebody else, it's about e-health. So there's this whole, there's a lot of confusion.
So how do you cut through all the confusion?
Well, for one thing, I don't really call myself a smart city, right? We say, look, we're here to solve particular problems.
Okay.
And we're clearly...
List the problems.
So for example, we start with connected lighting.
Okay.
We do connected lighting in the cities.
Okay.
It's something that immediately a city can see, it can understand, it can deploy, and it can see an ROI on. Right? Now we use that same infrastructure that we just deployed throughout the city. Because remember, the lights are everywhere.
Sure.
So essentially, by connecting all the lights together, we have a network that's everywhere.
Sure.
Now that we have a network that's everywhere and we have an open platform, you can add other types of devices. So we've taken the approach of saying, instead of just coming out and saying, oh, we can solve every problem for everybody, we are saying, look, let's target particular solutions that people will be willing to deploy, and then let's build out from that, right?
It sounds like the architecture of these solutions is important.
The architecture is very important. So this is one of the other confusing areas, right? Look at the choices that people have when you talk about an IoT, And this is, people are confused. So you talk about the network, right? So what type of network? Is it a wired network? Is it a wireless network? If you think about wired networks, what wired? Is it Ethernet? Well, Ethernet's kind of expensive. PoE is kind of expensive. So what do? Do you go to something like power line communications? Do you do something like, RS-485? Do you do free topology? If you go to wireless, I'm sure you've seen, there's Bluetooth, there's Zigbee, there's, Wi-Fi, there's cellular, and now there's an even newer one called visible light communications. So people are confused. And this is only at the network level. think about the services, network services.
So there's a lot of challenges.
There's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of confusion, and part of this confusion is being propagated by by every device vendor who wants to morph, or any vendor that wants to morph themselves into saying, "I am an IoT."
Sure.
And so our approach is very different. We're solving your problem. We're going to connect all your lights, and we're going to manage your lights, and you're going to manage them well, and it gives you an ROI in a certain number of years.
Is that your primary differentiation?
Currently, yes, absolutely. Because we've been connecting things for many, many, many years. I mean, we have 110 million devices today that we're connected. When people talk about an IoT, right?
It's a good number.
It is a good number. In fact, we have about 30 million smart meters, connected smart meters in Italy. We have today, right? So we have the experience, we have the background, we understand what it takes, right? And we understand what.
Do you actually deploy those yourself, or do you sell the
No,
product?
we sell them.
And then other people deploy them?
Yeah, there's other folks that end up deploying it. We have partners.
Sure.
And now we've gone into this connected lighting business because essentially lighting is creating a huge disruption because of LEDs, where people are just actually going out and replacing lights. Mm-hmm. And when they're replacing lights and they're outdoor and you have a bucket truck, it makes a lot of sense to put controls in,
Mm-hmm.
And people are discovering a lot of things about, LED lights as well. Just because you have a lower wattage solution doesn't mean that the lights are not going to burn just as bright.
Right.
This is actually a big problem. People put in, thinking, from the energy consumption perspective, and then they don't look at the illumination perspective, and they realize, oh my God, it's so bright, I can't sleep. This happened in a few cities. But if you had control, that's not a problem. And so essentially we have control where lights are everywhere, so we have a pervasive network created with an open platform.
Sure.
And so now we're going up into more and more other capabilities like smart applications. But we're very directed to solve very explicit burning problems and not just create a very open architecture and an open solution.
Sounds like you think IoT is changing the world.
I think this is what I'm really excited about, actually. It's a huge disruption, and it's this confluence of old technology and new technology coming together. So, for example, when you talk about old technology, that we can solve problems for. So, we manage energy and we manage maintenance, right? And then you start thinking, okay, now you take the next step and you expand, and off of that network we can do traffic counting. We can do, safety aspects. So what happens if you had just a plain old button, for example, at the end of a pole, every pole, and somebody, feels like they're in danger, they can just go press on that, right? Now suddenly all the lights in the whole area can flash, so you can communicate back. So there are a lot of opportunities that are coming up, in this whole IoT space.
Did we miss anything?
We're missing a lot, probably. It's not enough time to talk about it.
Sounds like you're going to have to come back for a follow-up.
I'd love to come back, Rich.
That sounds great. How do people find out more about your company?
They can go to our website, echelon.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for being on the program.
Yeah, great to see you again.